the hold. You can see yourself up there, and I'm pulling everybody into the system.
Good?
And you are, yep, we're good.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Our first order of business is just as described. We're now going to be holding meetings using a product called Zoom. This is where people can dial in or get on their computer and join the meeting. At the end of the meeting, we will have time for comments. We ask people, if you're on a computer, you say raise your hand. If you're on the telephone, I believe it's press *9, and the moderator, Daniel Secor, will get to you and make your line live so that you can hear us and we can hear you. This is the first time we're doing this publicly, so bear with us if things start to go a little crazy. We thought we'd start with a coronavirus COVID-19 update, and I would like to give you a couple of comments. Today, our Director of Public Health issued this statement. As of Monday afternoon, there were 41,708 positive cases of COVID-19 in the United States. Of these, 573 have died, or that is 1.37%. To put this in perspective, this is comparable to the seasonal flu. In Connecticut, 416 people had tested positive, and there were 11 deaths. Most of these were in the elderly over 80 or in individuals with compromised heart, lung, or immunosuppression issues. Brookfield now has 12 confirmed cases ranging in age from 20 to 71, all in self-isolation at home. This is a relatively high number in comparison to our population size and may reflect the progression up the Route 70 corridor from Westchester County. Fortunately, New York's death rate is less than 1%. There is no evidence of community spread in Brookfield at this time, nor has there been any report of close contacts of self-isolating residents contracting the disease. This is a very good sign that self-isolation is working. Our first reported positive case will conclude self-isolation isolation tomorrow. The best thing that anyone can do is to maintain social distancing. Cover your cough or sneeze, and wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Hand sanitizer loses its effect in 20 seconds, so our advice is to use it twice in succession in lieu of hand washing. That's from our Director of Public Health, Raymond Sullivan. If I can give some more updates. As most people know, Town Hall is closed. We do have a skeleton crew on site to help answer questions. The rest of our employees are working from home. We've equipped a number of laptop computers for them to do that. We're doing that in abundance of caution so that if we lose one employee, we have other employees who can come in. We are deep cleaning this building every day, every surface that people touch, doorknobs, handrails, elevator doors, counters, every possible thing you could think of, we're cleaning every single day. Our hours of operation now are from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. People will be in the building. You can call any department between those hours, and they will help you. If you need to meet an employee, that has to be done by appointment and work with the department you're talking to. The building is locked, so please don't try to come and just knock on the door. Okay? The library is closed. Library staff is coming in. They're doing a lot of work. They're helping with some of the back office things that we're doing for the town, but they are not open. Our emergency medical services has been expanded. We have now 3 full shifts of full-time professional EMTs. We're doing that in an abundance of caution to protect our firefighters and other EMTs that work volunteer for the town. That will be a little more expensive, but one of the reasons we're doing that is we are wiping down every ambulance after every single run. Prior to last week, we wiped down ambulances if there was somebody who was coughing, sneezing. If you had a broken leg, we weren't wiping down the ambulance. The problem is so many people are coming up asymptomatic for COVID-19 that we don't know who's carrying it. So again, we're doing that. We're wiping down the ambulances. The senior center is closed. They are continuing to do the food pantry and helping people for social services, but that's on a call-in appointment basis. Today, we did deliver 50 bags, 50 sets of groceries to our residents. And we set up a process where they stay in their car, we go outside, we bring the food to them, put it in their car, and that's working pretty well. We do have a program called the Brookfield Outreach Program, which we shamelessly stole from Bridgewater. But for residents who need help, please call our 775-7312 or email social@brookfieldct.gov, and you can register for help. We will creating a database of names and our emergency contacts and family members. This is a voluntary confidential registry only for use during this health emergency, and the town is prepared to assist in a number of ways, including food, supplies, and transportation. Our team for that includes town officials, the emergency management director, fire and police department chiefs, and our director of public health, as well as our police chief. As we move forward, if you need help, call the town and we'll try to help you. The CDC guidelines have changed for testing. You have to be symptomatic to be tested. Contacts of contacts and family members of people who are contacts are not being tested for COVID-19 unless that initial contact becomes symptomatic. This is primarily due to the fact that they don't have enough testing kits. They hope that for that to change, and hopefully quickly they'll change that so we can test more people. As we test more people, obviously, there are going to be more positives. So it's going to be a very dynamic scenario that we're looking at, and we can't put a lot of faith in the numbers because we don't know how many people have contracted COVID-19. For board meetings, we've been in contact with all the boards and commissions, and we're asking them not to meet unless they have a very pressing need. The governor has given us some extraordinary powers to delay meetings and delay deadlines, which the boards are all looking at, particularly for zoning and land use, those things. But if they don't have a pressing need, don't meet. We're going to have all the boards meet, if we can, the way we're meeting tonight. It's virtual. We're holding our staff meetings in town hall, all by virtual. No one is meeting in a room. And that's a good thing, it protects our people, and we're going to continue to do that. At worst, we're going to try to do the TV and the call-in. There may be meetings where we can only do a call-in. So we'll play that by ear and do it day by day. The governor has decreed that all non-essential businesses be closed. I think most of the businesses in Brookfield are being very cooperative, and I would say, except for restaurants, and takeout, if you can, Brookfield residents, go to your local restaurant, take out, help them out, because they could really use the help. There is SBA assistance in the form of loans and unemployment information. You can get that on sbea.gov, and you can go to, there's a long email address, URL, I won't get that, but telephone assistance is not available for unemployment, so you must either mail or get online to apply. Understand that they are having 10 times the number of applications per day than they normally get in a week, so it could take a little while. And that's pretty much it. So now we have just one thing. Oh, reminder, folks, you got to help us. Our parks are closed, but we've gotten numerous reports that numbers of groups of people have been in the parks playing basketball. In one case, there were 20 kids playing basketball last Sunday. This is exactly what we do not want to do. You're endangering your children, you're endangering other people, because one of those kids could be carrying the coronavirus, give it to another kid, they're both asymptomatic, and they could bring it home. So please follow the self-isolation for yourself and your family. We know sometimes it isn't fun, but that's the fastest way that we're going to wind this down and control this. As you know, most of the local supermarkets have hours for seniors. ShopRites are 6 to 7 a.m. in the morning, not the most convenient, but better than nothing. Also, most of the supermarkets in the area will now deliver. If you call them up, they will deliver. I've heard that some of them have a 3 or 4 day delay in delivering, so I've checked a couple of those. The Brookfield Library is going to help with that. They're going to put together a couple tutorials so you know how to order online with these supermarkets. It'll make it a lot easier for those people who aren't used to doing that. And so that's good. We have established the fund called Brookfield Recovers, and we're asking those who can to donate so that we can help those who are less fortunate. All the information to do that is on the town website, and we ask you to look that up. There are also on the town website, so everybody's aware of it, there are a coronavirus page where you can get information. One of the best sites is ct.gov/coronavirus. Literally a wealth of information if you have questions. We're more than happy in town hall to answer questions, but understand that it sometimes will take a while. We're getting hundreds of emails, hundreds of calls, so it may take us a little while to get back, and you might get a little faster answer if you go to the state, federal, or World Health Organizations.
Steve, can you remind people how to sign up for our website?
Yeah, Dan, how do you sign up for the website?
So from the homepage, brookfieldct.gov, if you're on a mobile device, it'll be straight down. For a computer, it'll be on the left-hand side. We have a section with yellow buttons. One of them is marked subscribe to e-news. That'll bring you to two options. E-news is news from the town website itself. So that'll be our announcements about the coronavirus, any announcements on our main page, including upcoming events. The other one is subscribe to newsletters. That includes the individual newsletters from the Senior Center, the library, and our Brookfield Spotlight, which typically is a monthly newsletter, but during the coronavirus, we're also sending up updates in sync with that and our Facebook page.
Yeah, so please do sign up. I've gotten people who have called me up very upset. We're not sending any information out. We are not capable of calling every resident in town, and we're not capable of knocking on your door. You gotta meet us halfway. We're also sending that same information out through the school's email list, so please get up on that list and we'll send it to you and we'll give you the latest updates. We're not gonna inundate people, but when we have a truly important update, we will send it out. That's every 1 or 2 days. Just so everybody's aware, the town has declared an emergency last week, and on Friday, we declared the Emergency Operations Center to be open. We've had 2 meetings so far. Our Fire Marshal, Jason D'Souza, is going to be the incident commander. We're holding those meetings going forward, virtually too, and we go through all the issues, the problems, the concerns we have. Do we have enough equipment? What are we looking for? What do we need? One of the things, if people have it, we need masks, gowns, and if you've got N95 masks, if you're in the plastering business and you've got extra masks you don't need, the hospitals and local emergency services can use them. So please, if you've got those, call the hospital, call town hall. We'll tell you where you can drop them off. We do not want people walking into buildings, dropping stuff off, right? So give us a call and we'll arrange to pick those up.
They can do that for the fire department as well. They're looking for wipes and
Yes,
alcohol.
the fire
Call women
department right
first.
now is looking for at least 70% isopropyl alcohol. So if you've got an unopened, plastic of that, please, you can drop it off. If you go, the Brookfield Lions are collecting that. So if you look at the Lions website, they'll tell you exactly where you can drop it off. It's at somebody's house. I'm sorry, I don't have that information
Like
from
ones
me.
on White Pine.
On White Pine Drive, 45 White Pine, is that right? So if you could do that, that would be a big help. As you know, most organizations have run out of wipes to clean things off. So we're creating our own, and so is the fire department and EMS. Are there any questions from you guys? Did I miss anything?
Do you want to mention blood drive or
Do I want to mention?
not? Blood drive?
We haven't, and that isn't set up. We're trying to set up a blood drive at the high school because I think they told us 45 events had been canceled because of this COVID-19. So we're trying to set one up in the high school. We've got the agreement of the Board of Ed and the superintendent, and we're going through the details, and as soon as we've got all the details, we will announce that. You can contribute blood if you're asymptomatic, if you have no concerns, and they are going to be following very stiff protocols to keep everyone safe. I forgot about that. Thank you, Steve. Harry, anything?
No, the only thing that I would like to just kind of stress is for people to be patient and really try not to panic. If you watch too much news, it doesn't matter what channel, they seem to want to give you as grim a picture as can be. And I just hope and wish that people would just abide by what we're supposed to be doing, be patient, and just not panic. Just have trust, and we'll get through this.
Sue?
Enjoy your family time. Yes,
Thank you.
This is a special time.
Yes.
Also, just one thing, we're putting signs up at the Still River Greenway this weekend, incredibly popular.
Yes.
I think way too many people were on the Greenway to keep it safe for the social distancing. Really, people think very, very long and hard before you go on the Greenway. You do not want to spread this. And we understand people want to be outside. We understand you want to get your kids outside. But
Can we also, say Williamsburg is open, Happy Landing is
yeah,
open?
Happy Landings is open, Gursky is open, Burr is open. Those are much less frequently, they're not quite as popular as the Greenway. And the other thing with the Greenway, if you go to Gursky or Burr Farm or Happy Landings, there's probably a 99% chance you're gonna meet Brookfield residents. If you go on the Greenway, they're coming from all over. That is such a popular destination.
I would just ask them to please do a tick check when they do that.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to have a Lyme disease problem
Right.
after all of this. So
Yeah, and ticks,
just do a
the
tick
ticks
check.
are coming out.
Yeah.
Our dog had one on it last week. We do everything. Okay. So we're here for our capital projects special town meeting. I'll make the motion and we can discuss it. In accordance with our charter, section C9-6, general statutes, section 7-7, Brookfield ordinances, chapter 20, and in accordance with the declarations of state and local states of emergency, the first selectman and the entire board of selectmen hereby approve and ratify sending the capital projects bond resolution directly to referendum to be held on May 19th, 2020 during the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Harry seconds. Discussion.
Yes, I just want you to make sure that you explain what this means. This does not mean that we are just approving the capital
No, we don't.
budget without a referendum.
Mhm.
And I just would like people to hear that.
So usually we will have a town meeting just for the capital, and the reason for that is you have to announce the capital and do that at least 45 days before the referendum. That is not the same time frame as the operating budget. The operating budget is 10 days. So we were gonna have a capital budget town meeting next week, but the only thing that town meeting does is send the capital budget to referendum and pick the date. So we're not giving up anything. The Board of Finance will be making a full presentation at a town meeting, which will include the capital. If you want to look at the capital budget, it's included in our budget. It's on the town website, and we'll send it to you if you can't find it. It's pretty straightforward, but we're not making any decisions about capital at all. All we're doing, because of this emergency, we feel it is really, really important to keep people separate and apart, and we're just setting the date.
So we're waiving one meeting that was only going to be setting a date.
Only
to
that
say,
one meeting.
This is when we're saying that we will have the referendum,
Yes,
which is
and I
May
think
19th.
we all agree we're going to try to have our normal meetings, our normal referendum for the budget, unless circumstances force us not to.
Yes.
We have gotten the power from the governor, executive order, to simply adopt a budget for next year. The Board of Selectmen can do that. I'm not in favor of that. I think we should try to have the vote.
I agree.
And if by, please, God, we don't have to, if there's a real problem when it comes to the vote, then the Board of Selectmen will make that decision at that time. But I think we should follow our normal procedures on that.
I would think that if it got to the situation where we couldn't have a referendum in the date that we wanted to or needed to, that we would somehow figure something out where the town can, make the decision.
Yeah.
On the,
Yeah, we'll address that one. I agree with you. We'll address that one. I think we all agree that
Yes.
this is really important to let people vote. Any other questions or concerns on this? So having heard that, all those in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Aye, carries 3-0. Now we have one more thing, an appointment. I would make the motion that the selectmen appoint Mike Connors as deputy fire marshal. Do I have a second?
Second?
Sue seconds. Any discussion? Nice guy, about 30 years of experience. I think he's gonna fit in well here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this is because Dave has.
Yeah, Dave
retired.
Lathrop retired, so
Yes.
he's taking Dave Lathrop's
Right.
place.
So we thank Dave for his time and
Right.
efforts and all
Yes.
the work that he did for
Right.
us. He was wonderful when he was here.
So now we're at the New Horizon portion of the meeting. Does anyone in the public have a comment or they would like to make? Let me see if anything
Okay.
And again, if you are joining us from the Zoom meeting, on your computer you should have an icon marked raise hand. If you're joining in from phone, which I see we have at least 2 people, if you wish to make a comment, press *9. And Rich Saluga, I do see that you have a question. So if you were to as a set, we'll go on mute. Steve, just let me know when.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Rich, you have the floor.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. Just a quick one.
Wait, Rich,
You mentioned the green-
for the record, could you state your
Yeah.
name and address?
Rich Saluga, 32 Great Heron Lane,
Thank you.
Brookfield.
Okay, go ahead.
You mentioned the Greenway and Sue mentioned Williams Park, etc. Does the Brookfield High School tracks also open for walkers?
Yes. Yes.
That's a great question.
That's a great
Thank
one.
you, Rich, that's a very good question.
But please stay away from
Because
everybody else.
the reason I ask is, we saw a lot of people on the Greenway the other day when we wanted to walk, and we didn't want to take that opportunity to add to the number of people, so we walked over to the track, but there's a sign on the fence that says all fields are closed.
Yes.
So I just wanted, there were a lot of people there, I just wanted to make sure we were,
Yes.
we were okay.
The fields are closed, the playing fields for softball and baseball and lacrosse and soccer, because we don't want lots of kids or lots of people congregating, but walking around the track is just fine, unless you feel uncomfortable. You have a second question, Rich?
Okay, and the other question was regarding the budget. Just if you can clarify the governor's statement as it relates to Brookfield, because my understanding was the Board of Finance is the one that ultimately puts forth the budget. The governor's statement seemed to indicate that the Board of Selectmen could decide that if we get to that point. Could you just clarify that? Is the Board of Finance then out of the picture and the Board of Selectmen then decided, or
Yes.
how does that work?
The way you said it, that's exactly how I understand it, that the Board of Selectmen would be the legislative body that would make that decision.
Even though our local charter and ordinances talk about the Board of Finance, or no?
Well, the Board of Finance puts together the final budget to put before the voters, and the governor
Right.
made the decision that the Board of Selectmen would make the decision whether to not have the referendum or not.
Tom Beecher would also like to join in at the moment.
Okay.
All right, Tom, you're on as well.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Hi,
Tom.
Tom.
This is Tom Beecher, our town attorney.
So I just wanted to assist on that particular question. Steve is correct that the Board of Selectmen would be the body that makes the decision to bypass the town meeting and the referendum for the budget. But the ultimate budget-making authority would be the Board of Finance. They would actually craft the budget that moves forward.
Yeah, they've already
Okay.
finished their budget and submitted it, Tom.
But that would still be the process if you go under the executive order
Mhm.
and decide not to go to town meeting, which you haven't decided to do yet, but I'm just explaining that
Right.
the Board of Selectmen makes the initial decision as to whether that's the route to go. And then, but it's the Board of Finance's budget, they are the budget-making authority, so it would be that budget that would become the budget.
Thanks for the clarification.
Anything else before I mute them back?
No, yeah. Let's go to the next person if that's okay.
All right, Rich, Tom, you are now muted.
Does anybody else have a?
I have no more
Question or
hands showing on the
comment?
panel.
No.
Tom, Harry, did you have a question?
I just have a question. Would it be an option if it got to a situation where they did not want people in the gymnasium to have machines outside
Yes,
and separate them to where people could
Yeah.
come in one at a time? It would take, it would take more effort, but it would, just a thought.
Yeah, well, we planned the blood drive that we're planning is in the high school gym. So we're comfortable that with the protocols that the American Red Cross is using and with our own capabilities, that we could keep that facility clean. But you're right, we would have to get those tables further apart, right?
And
Maybe
maybe
only have
monitor.
one person checking in
Right.
at each table to
Yeah.
keep the social distance. I think we could do it. The question becomes, is if this pandemic becomes so rampant that it's just ridiculous to even try.
I know they're
What can we
discussing
say?
absentee ballots, but my concern is, can the town hall handle that if there's
It
thousands
would
of
be,
people?
it would be really, really difficult, because getting an absentee ballot, first, you have to be able to testify that you are out of town, sick, or there's a couple of you're in the military. You can't just say, I want an absentee ballot. You have to testify
There have
that
to
you
be
just
special
cannot show up. You
circumstances
have to have
now.
special circumstances. We do not have no excuse ballots in Connecticut right now. The second thing is the way to do this with the way absentee ballots work, it's a difficult process. You gotta file a piece of paperwork, and then they send you another piece of paperwork, and it's very convoluted, it's very expensive, and it's incredibly time consuming. Both on the part of people trying to vote absentee and on the part of the town clerk and their staff. So right now, I don't really see that as a viable
I
option.
think it would be very difficult to do.
It would be difficult.
We have another hand raised on one of our phone callers.
Okay.
All right, you're
Hi,
on.
who's on?
Okay, this is Dottie Dory, Registrar of Voters.
Hi, Dottie Dory, Registrar of Voters. Where do you live?
840 Acre Mountain Road.
Okay. What can we do for you, Dottie? What would you like
I
to add
just wanted
something?
to comment about
Sure.
the absentee ballot,
Yeah.
that the town clerks and the registrars had a conference call yesterday with the Secretary of the State, and absentee balloting is something that they are still considering.
Okay.
Perhaps changing the idea of lessening the reasons to make fear of the virus a valid reason for filling out an absentee ballot. The biggest obstacle right now from what I see from the state's point of view is that absentee balloting is a constitutional issue. And we can't change it without somehow or other altering the Constitution. So that would have to be a legislative decision as to what they want to go there. But I had thought of a solution. I don't know how practical it would be, but I know the town clerk is worried about people coming to fill out applications. But if we truly had no excuse, the registrar's office would certainly be willing to help send every registered voter in town a ballot without an application.
That would be great.
And we are the ones who count them, so,
Yeah.
we are the ones who count them, so it would affect us also.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good information. Thank you, Dottie.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else you want to add, Dottie?
Not at this time, thanks.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank
Do
you
we
for
have
staying on
anybody
top of
else who would like to comment?
We have no more comments waiting at the moment.
Okay, we have no emails that came in. So, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody, for joining our meeting. I think this worked pretty well.
And feedback if you have any, how, you
Yeah,
know, if you're
feedback, let us
happy.
know. And remember that we
There's
can
time.
only, right now, take up to 100 people. We're not near that limit yet, but hopefully we'll get there. Thank you, everybody. Good night.